Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. My name is Kat, known as phamerina.planning here on YouTube and on Instagram. And today's video is a plan with me for the week of April 14th through the 20th using the decorative kit from Dash of Sun called Bunny Trails. Her decorative kits do come with some of the pages foiled, so it was foiled in gold. And I did use a few of these elements to make a bullet journal spread for the week of Easter, which is the same week I am planning in this memory planner. So that's why some of the pages are missing. I do have the foiled quotes, the Easter signs, and the foiled deco. I intended to use the gingham, but I did not end up using it at all. And of course, the washi sampler, large deco, and the alcohol inks. And I will, of course, be pulling in the foiled alcohol inks. You'll see them in a little bit. I believe I have them in Sky. Pretty sure that's the color I used. So I do have the standard weekly for this, but I wanted to really take this foray into using um, a decorative kit in my standard weekly A5 wide standard weekly. You know what I mean in this format. Um, and I know I'm not the first one to do it. Like Meg from Magnificent Plans, she's been doing it for a while, and she makes some amazing spreads. But I think, well, I think her spread. Okay, let me reset here. Her spreads look gorgeous, right? But they're not like, they don't fit my style of planning because she has a lot of white space, and that's not like a comment on her spreads or anything. It's just a comment on how her style and my style are very different. So I wanted to, I guess, show on YouTube. I know I'm not the only person who's done this. Christina's done a decorative kit from, she's just Christine on YouTube. She's done like a decorative kit in her A5 wide. I believe Mariah from Mariah's Imperfect Plans has done a few of them, at least one, because I know she did one recently. So I can think of that off of the top of my head. So I'm not the first person to do this, but I do want to put more videos into the space that show that this, how you can do it, right? And I want to show different styles because I think like Mariah's style has a lot more white space than my typical style. I wouldn't call myself a maximalist, but I have like the like less white space. um so that was my long-winded way of saying that even though I have the standard weekly and I could have easily stolen the foils, the foiled washi from the washi page, and all, like, basically I could have stolen the elements from the standard weekly kit, because Chelsea does let you buy things a la carte. So I could have just repurchased those specific pages if I really needed them. I told myself that I'm not touching the standard weekly kit. It's going to be its own thing. I will use it next year. Um, I'm really sad that I didn't get to use the little boy and the girl holding the Easter baskets with the bunny ears, but I'm hoping maybe next year. We do want a second kid. Um, Maybe next year that will be our future. Who knows? Maybe I'm manifesting another child. Hopefully, I do. I really do want to have another kid, but that's not what we're here for. This is not the that's not what this video is about. So again, that was my long-winded way of saying, yes. So everything is going to be add-ons or from the deco kit. We're not pulling anything from the standard weekly. So for my bottom washi, I use the fence from the washi sampler, the blue gingham washi strip from the decorative kit, and I had this vision. My vision was that you were peeking over the fence. You were looking over the fence, and on one side you saw the field with all the eggs, and on the other side you had this path. And while the the scale of the deco is nonsensical, right? Like those eggs are giant compared to like that field there. I thoroughly kind of enjoy the nonsensical perspective. Either those are some giant eggs or they're very close, and I kind of enjoy that. Like I like it makes it feel a little bit more whimsical. The fact that we're playing with sizes and perspective. I also did end up with this spring sampler from Sadie Stickers. I believe it was like a freebie at some point. And it had the little bunnies in it, which were perfect because they fit right into those little spots there. And I pulled in the grass from there since I had it out already. I do have a couple foil grass options, but I figured I might as well just use that one. And then I made an oopsie because I wanted to layer this foiled garland under the floral trim, but it's a very short garland, so I had to quickly reevaluate my day cover area, which basically meant flipping the the floral garland the other way. I mean, I've done this not garland, floral washi. I've done it a few times now. It's kind of like one of 5 ways I do my day cover area. However, um, I knew I also wanted to use the initials for the days of the week, and I kind of went like a little more bullet journally. It's one of the like styles in the bullet journal you might see, where you have like the initial and then you do the text, the days of the week typically, or the months, in cursive or a script in front of the or on top of the initial. It's a very common bullet journal technique. So I pulled in some of my bullet journal techniques into here. Plus, like, I as much as I really love the non-foiled day covers, I'm just a foiled, like, not foiled day covers, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a foiled days of the week girl at heart. Like, I can't not do it. I have to do it. I have no self-control when it comes to that. So again, I knew I wanted to use that floral washi trim, so I just had to bump that down a little to accommodate the larger day covers. And surprisingly, I think I only put like decorative elements on the side. I did not intersperse anything in between, which is kind of like odd for me, to be very honest with you. Like, I'm one that's like, let me bring more deco into this area, but like it mostly stayed on the sides. So I'm a little like, wow, Cat, you have some self-control here. um, but I think that's because I was like, oh darn, I screwed up my day cover area. Like, what am I gonna do? And then I realized I also was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for my sidebar. Like, I don't know how to bridge these, like, where's this path going? I haven't thought about it yet. Um, so I decided to take the doilies. I was like, let's try using these doilies. Um, and at first I wanted to put the fashion person at like the top or the bottom. I really don't like having my fashion people float in the middle. I have this weirdness with seeing like that cutoff, you know what I mean? Like the bottom part of them. So unless like it's part of like a scene, like you're gonna see it in a second. Like, so her bottom part, I'm like, I have this weirdness about like just seeing that. So I covered it up with a floral. Does it make sense? No, but like it's better for me. It's like as if she's standing behind the floral rather than just standing there in space all on her own. It's just this weirdness I have if they're not like full bodied or have some sort of like gradient where it kind of like their body is fading. I just don't like how that looks. I don't like the crisp cut edge of it. That's just a me thing. Um, it makes, if I just like agreed with it, my life would be so much easier. So I really love the foiled bunny prints, the bunny footprints. I was so like happy to discover that they were all individually cut. It must have been a pain in the butt to cut out on the machines, but the fact that I could like use them to make my own bunny trails, genius, beautiful, gorgeous, perfect. And I love the quote, follow the bunny, he is chocolate. Gorgeous. Perfect. Um and as much as I love layering stickers and creating my own little moments, there's just something really nice about having a sticker that is already pre-layered. Maybe you add a few elements here or there and then you just slap it down, right? So for this like egg stand, I put the foiled alcohol ink behind it. Brought in a little foiled Easter basket. That was it. It was done. That's it. So that was like one of my, it's like a double box stand-in, I guess. And um like in my last, I spoke about it very briefly in my last plan with me. Like I basically stick the two pages, the two pages of my spread right next to each other, and I create, like I've been like really um into these like center scene. I don't know what we call these. Like the middle area, middle area. I've been like really into making like filling these out and just putting lots of decorative elements in them, creating little scenes if I could, like bridging the two columns next to each other. Like for this collection, for the spread, I kind of was just like, well, you know, do I really care that much about the plans? Not really. Um so I don't necessarily, I've come to learning that like if I just want to take up a lot of space, I'll just pick out the most important thing that I wanted to mark for that day if there's only room for like two things, and just be content with that. Cuz like ultimately, like yes, is this going to be a place where I can flip through and see memories and, highlights of my day? Yeah. But ultimately, this is a place where I lay down shiny stickers and pretty stickers, and it just makes me happy. Like the end, like this hobby, this is all cathartic in the fact that like I get to create something really pretty to look at. Right. Does it help to have plans? Does it make it like quote unquote a little more functional by having it kind of be like a diary? Yeah. But if it comes to laying down the pretty stickers versus making sure there's room for the diary, I'm gonna go with laying down the pretty stickers. So that's why I remember distinctly when I was laying down the day by day, I was like, oh man, I didn't leave myself a lot of room to like really write a lot, but I was content at the end of the day. So here I am kind of like circling back to frames. So this frame was around one of the quotes on the quote box, and I've been like throwing frame ideas around in my head ever since the fairy tale spread from Miss and Meow. I mean, like I feel like whenever I use frame, it's a huge focal point in my spread, and I really invest in making sure that it looks great. Like it's very prominent. Um so like with this foil frame, I was like, I got to make sure that whatever I do with this foil frame, it's going to be the focal point for like this half of the spread here, because it's smack in the middle. Like I got to make sure it looks pretty. Like does it have to make sense? No. Florals with a stack of books and bunny, like no, it doesn't have to make sense. But is it pretty to look at? Yes, and that's all ultimately that matters to me. And then I felt like the bottom was looking a little bit naked after putting all of this stuff up there, and especially since the other side has a lot of color towards the bottom. So I figured, let me bring in one more element into this bottom area, just to make sure the bottom has a little bit more color. And of course I was like, oh, these bunny trails, although I kind of wish I stuck with the orientation they were in on the page. Not that they were necessarily like drawn that way, but I feel like since I've seen them in the other orientation, my brain just is like, that's not right. My brain's like, that's not the correct way they're supposed to go, because I quote unquote know how they're supposed to go. But so I'm going to finish off my base by delineating my date cover area. Yeah, my date cover area from my day to day, because that's just how I do. It's just one of those things that, like, if I don't do it, I get fixated on it. So I just use a little foil. Which one? This is a foil washi. I think it's a dot dash. I think it's the one from Sadie's stickers. I'm fairly certain about that. And of course, putting my date dots in, it's just so I don't forget to. And then My month script, I really enjoyed like stacking the eggs next to each other. I believe I use up most all of this large deco. I think the only thing I didn't really use was the large bike. Just because I couldn't fit it in anywhere. Literally, I just could not figure out where to put it in the spread because it was already way too busy. So in terms of boxes, or in terms of day to day, I decided to pull in the functional colorways from Blissful Jade Designs. She has originally it was 8, and then I think she released one or two more after that, and they were really nice because I could pick up just the Medi boxes, which is the size I typically prefer. And then since I've been building my script collection, I now was able to just use scripts in places and forego boxes wherever I could. Um, so that's it. Just and of course I had these foiled lace boxes. I forget what they're called. I think that's what they're called. They're from Sadie Stickers. I need to pick up more because I'm always like really conservative with them. But like, what's the point if you don't use them, right? So on to the day by day. I believe I've explained all of the boxes and all that jazz. On to the day by day. The day by day, we start with a coffee Monday, and nothing really happened that day because I then marked an IG post, and I don't like I. If you've noticed, I'm sure people have noticed I have a pattern. Because I like my grid to line up. You know, I like my grid to have all three of my memory spreads because I do a base spread and then two completed spreads, but one is just the pictures and one is the real. And I like them to all to be in the line. So there's always an IG post, unless there's no plan with me, an IG post on Monday and then two on Tuesday. Yeah, two on Tuesday. And then I try to figure out where I'm going to put like bullet journal and journaling spreads. But if you've noticed, they're always in groups of 3. So they're like, that's why it's like not, it doesn't really mean anything that I did an IG post on Monday. I always do an IG post on Monday, but because nothing really happened that day is what I'm saying. On Tuesday, I had my laptop replaced at work. I think it's because it was old and a security risk and yada yada yada. And then we raced around the house with Bub. On Wednesday, it was a paperwork day, and Bub right now has been like constantly rereading books. So we'll usually finish a book, we'll move on to a different book. So we usually read about like 4 or 5 books before bed. But lately, he's been finishing a book. It's the construction site books. And he says again, so he'll read at least one of them once or twice, 2 or 3 times in a night. And like, yes, I love it, but like, I'm like, oh, like, can we read something else? So this was the start of the rereads, which is great. I love that he's really like starting to recognize characters, and I think he's starting to recognize words. So like, I'm not gonna poo-poo it. It's just like, man, construction site, Merry and Bright, we've heard like 3 times it's not even Christmas. Like that's where I'm coming from. On Thursday, I had the day off, and then we had pho with Titi, Max, and Bob. Max is my husband. Titi is his babysitter. We did groceries, and I finished the night with a voiceover. On Friday, yes, I'm all caught up. On Friday, I watched Card Captor Sakura. Um, I believe it wasn't the episodes that make me cry, because the episodes towards the end of the series, they make me cry because of how innocent and pure they are. But I don't think, I just didn't have a lot to mark that. Or I think I had a short period where I wasn't watching anything, so I wanted to mark it because I got back into it. I had some kung fu tea that night. I folded laundry, and then I did some reading. Onyx Storm. I was reading Onyx Storm. On Saturday, I had an eye exam. I did a planning sesh that night, and I got some happy mail. It was the Daydream kit from the Pretty Pink Co. That's such a stunning kit. The purple and the hollow. It's just a pretty kit. It's so gorgeous. Ugh, I need to make sure I do it justice. I'm gonna be so sad if I don't do it justice. Okay, moving on. Moving on. The 20th was Easter Sunday. Bub actually had two Easter egg hunts. The Easter Bunny visited the house twice. He visited our house and then he visited Bang Wai's house. Bang Wai has a bigger yard, so there were more eggs. Plus, like then he got to race around and collect eggs with op, which is in Vietnamese the way you denote like the youngest of a generation. So like my mom's youngest brother, he's op, my op, go op. And then Bella, my cousin, my other cousin, she is ye op. So that's just the way it's like a term of endearment. And then what was the last thing? Oh, and then we hung out with the family and vacuumed, and that is the spread. I love how full this looks. It's very different from my typical spreads because there are no full boxes, and in some ways it was kind of hard to work without the full boxes because I don't know. Like one would think since I usually do tilted boxes that the deco kit would be easier, but it's not. It's like a different headspace, and I think it just requires using more of them. Although the thing is with the deco kits is like there's so many pages. Like I do not need all of these pages. I mean I do, but I don't need them for this spread. Um so I think that's like the fine line with the deco kit. And then these are all of the other elements that I pulled in. And that is the spread. That is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you gave it a little like. Leave a comment with any of your thoughts down below. And I would be so happy if you join my little channel here by subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.